the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. This is the Daily News Review program on the morning show this morning. It's a beautiful day to be alive. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of March, 2026. And I'm delighted to be sharing this morning with you. My name is Fumi Bangala. Today promises to be a power-packed one at the risk of sounding very, very churchy. But yeah, we are here this morning. We're going to run through the headlines really quickly, and then we will, pick one or two that have caught our eye this morning on the Daily News Review program. You already know that we are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can find us, you can listen to us on the go if you are not inside your car via our website www.wfm917.com. The phone lines will be open shortly, so you already know what to do. You call in. However, make sure that your calls, your comments are divisive. I know that a lot of us have a lot of things that we want to say, but if we can also keep it within, a particular time so that we can allow other people call in and make their own contributions as well. With that being said, I think that's housekeeping done. Yeah, we're going to go into it. But before I go ahead, Buki Femi Ajala is here. Our analyst is here this morning. Good morning, Buki. How are you?
Okay, yes, so Buki is doing great. I just want to thank God. Yes, Buki is doing great. So
Awesome.
How is everyone doing as well? Our newspaper review family. Yeah, because you see my face on Wednesdays.
Yes, your face, so you are working double time.
It's fine. Yeah, so I'm doing great. Yeah, thank you.
That's okay. Okay, let's get into it this morning. We're gonna quickly run through the headlines this morning. I know a lot of people are wondering where Rose is. Rose is a little bit under the weather. So when she comes, make sure that you welcome her back with plenty of love and joy and kindness. Okay. All right. In the Punch newspaper, we have 5 officers arrested over bribery in El-Rufai airport bridge. I did read this one, and I find this very, very interesting because, like I always say, justice only works when justice wants to work. And it's just proof that justice can work in Nigeria. It's just who the justice is working for that, matters in this kind of context. So yeah. Tinubu nominates Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. Remember that Taiwo Oyedele he used to be the chairman of the tax reforms? Please don't quote me. The name of Sapamilori right now. And then now he's been moved to the Minister of State for Finance. You're wondering, so what happened to the former Minister of State? Well, that's Dr. Doris, she's been moved to Minister of State for, is it transport? No, I think it's transport. I'm not sure. I was reading about it I started reading about it yesterday, and now all the minister this thing, OT, Sapamilori anyway. Moving on to the Guardian newspaper, we have Zulum empowers 2,970 Borno youths with 2 billion naira startup packs. That was good. As long as they all get it, because it's one thing to say you are empowering them, but are they actually going to get it? You get what I mean? Okay. DSS arrests 2 suspected arms couriers, recovers RPGs. That is great news. Moving on to the This Day newspaper, we have 75 die of Lassa fever in 8 weeks, says the NCDC. I don't know when this will be curbed, because I think Lassa fever comes and goes, but this has been happening in the last 3, 4, 5 months. I think there was a doctor who had passed on as well from Lassa fever, and we're just hoping that this is done. It dies a sudden death, right? And big up to the NCDC, big up to all the medical personnel who are doing everything in their power to make sure that this doesn't spread past what it is. So big ups to them. Nigeria government inaugurates new health facilities, recruits over 1,500 medical personnel in 1 year. That's amazing news. And obviously, step in the right direction. So we are glad about this one. Moving on to the Daily Trust, we have justice must not be selective. ADC raises alarm over El-Rufai and Malami. We are going to get into that this morning because some salient points were raised in this article. I mean, the opposition is doing the work of the opposition, but could there be some semblance of truth there? We'll see. National Assembly shifts plenary resumption to March 10. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper, we have Ogun community protest alleged imposition of monarch. Then also in the Vanguard, we have Medical Council suspends 3 doctors over Chimamanda Adichie's son's death. I think we will, if time permits, we will also touch on this one as well this morning, because in typical Nigerian fashion, something happens, you just sweep it on. But I think last week she had said is it starting an inquest on her son's death? And this is such a tragic thing because your son is okay 1 minute, your son is not okay the next minute. There was actually a couple who lost their twins, I think at the start of the year, and I was reading about them last month as well, where they were still, raising just to say, look, somebody has to pay for the death of our twins, and yes, we can applaud and commend the medical sector on one hand, but on the other hand, these things are very, very, they leave a bitter taste in your mouth, and then you're unable to say, I want to share, but because lives are lives regardless, Moving on to the Premium Times, it was only a joke. Akwa Ibom government defends Eno's empty barrels remark against critics. I think yesterday on Her Lens, when I was hosting Her Lens, Buki interestingly happened to be a co-host, one of the ladies on Her Lens yesterday, and we did talk about Governor Eno's remark about, am I a receptionist? We did not see this one, but to say that it was only a joke, like, what do you take us for? No, really. What do you take us for? It is well with us in this country. Moving on to the next headline, Kano to enroll 1 million vulnerable residents in health insurance scheme. Yes, love this. I hope that they actually actualize this. I hope that it actually happens, for these residents, because we know that if you are sick and enter hospital, it's expensive. It's really, really expensive to be sick. So, excuse me, if there's going to be an insurance scheme for vulnerable residents, we're talking maybe people with disabilities, women and children, pregnant women, older citizens. I'm here for this. I am so here for this, as long as they actually go ahead to do this. Moving on to the Nation newspaper, Taraba APC SWC endorses Kefa's Tinubu for re-election. Also on the Nation newspaper, we have Aida Tiwa's aide. Babatunde emerges new Ondo APC chairman. How? If you are my aide, you know what? I don't want to even get into the math of that. The cable newspaper, Benue APC crisis deepens as Akume Alia factions elect 2 states chairman. So obviously, as PDP they get crisis, Benue APC they get crisis. Turaki meets with Makinde Bala Mohammed over modalities for PDP e-registration. Moving on to the Daily Post, we have sit at home. Anambra government slashes workers' salaries for failing to work on Mondays. Are we still like this again? Because I thought it was sorted, but actually, I take that back. In the last 2 weeks, I've been seeing headlines still that people haven't been going to work. So, we'll see how this unfolds, basically. NAFDAC warns against underage drinking of sachet, small bottle alcohol. I don't know why the Ministry of Health and NAFDAC are still playing this is you, is not me, this thing, because it actually this sachet small bottle alcohol should be banned, but now we're not talking ban, we're talking warns against. We should be all here. In the Tribune newspaper, we have CSSUNN urges Zamfara government to change narrative on 6-month maternity leave. Okay. I mean, you already know once anything with concern women, I am sat. So yeah, we'll see how that one unfolds. Moving on to the next headline, 2027 Governor Sani Tajuddin charge Kaduna APC on 2 million votes for Tinubu. Please, 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 please. We're not doing that here. Lastly, in the dailies this morning, we have from the pen-pushing newspaper, Ogun State All Progressives Congress re-elects Yemi Sanusi, 35 others as executives. And lastly, we have Governor Fubara sends list of commissioner nominees to Rivers State House of Assembly. Those are the headlines this morning from our national dailies. We try as much as possible to make sure that they are exhaustive and we get the ones that, will get your blood rolling really. And yeah, we're going to move straight into the ones that have caught our eye this morning. Before we do that, once again, we are live on YouTube at WFM 917. You can also listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. You can also call once the phone lines are open, 0800 1235 917 or 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. Now that we've moved housekeeping out of the way, you're still tuned to Women Radio 91.7. This is the Daily News Review program on the Full Breakfast Show this morning. My name is Fumi, and we have our analyst with us this morning, Buki Femi Ajala. Right about now, the time is 18 minutes to 8. So we have a bit of time to maybe dwell on quite a few headlines this morning. But yeah, hi, Buki, once again.
Wiki's fine. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, let's take this first headline for this morning. The ADC has come out in true opposition form to accuse the administration of Bola Tinubu of applying selective justice in handling legal cases involving former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. This is from the Vanguard newspaper. Actually, quite a few headlines picked up on this as well. And there were quite a few things that they said that I was like, this is interesting. I'm trying to look for it. It says in a constitutional democracy where the law is seen to operate selectively, it becomes imperative to insist and firmly without apology that justice must be applied evenly. They went on to say that the movement of Malami and El-Rufai from the custody of one law enforcement agency to another in rapid succession while investigations appear ongoing has raised profound public concern because they kept on talking about the rule of law, that in a democracy there's supposed to be the rule of law. Custody must follow credible, well-prepared charges and not proceed them in a manner that creates the appearance of pre-trial punishment. So if there is evidence against Malami, prosecute him transparently. If there's evidence against El-Rufai as well, present it before the court and allow the law to take its course. And the party also drew attention to what it described as a contrasting high-profile case involving allegations of passport forgery, international conspiracy, impersonation, and goes on and on and on and on and on. And they said that these are not minor procedural questions. So, Buki, I'd like you to speak on this because, of course, we know that we see justice is supposed to be fair, but sometimes we see that justice is not fair in Nigeria in many things. We see it time and time again. We see how justice runs to catch people who they are not who is who, right? They don't know anybody. Like last year in the case, I'll cite that case. I've always cite that case. In the case of the Kwam 1 and Kwam 2 situation, we saw how justice was meted out to Kwam 1 and the young lady, Comfort Emerson. 2 different aircrafts, 2 different airlines, 2 different days, 2 different situations. And we saw how one person's dignity was preserved and one person's dignity wasn't. We've seen that, even different examples of how are you able to quickly mete out justice on this person? How? And then in this case, like I would always joke, it's possible that El-Rufai and Malami have lost out favor with the who is who of the government, and now they are running after their lives, basically. So I would like you to weigh in on this. Please go ahead.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay, so yeah, it appears that when we talk about the rule of law in Nigeria, law is interpreted for some, is applied for some, the law, the guards for some, all kinds of things have happened that we have seen. I mean, you just mentioned about 2 cases now, and people will definitely reel out a whole lot. But when we talk about the rule of law, what we are saying essentially is that either you are a leader or or a citizen, the law must take its course. The law must be applied the same way for everybody. We always talk about Singapore when we talk about developing nations. The rule of law is high there. Even in the days of Lee Kuan Yew, a serving minister, when he knew that he had done some things, he had to run. He had to run for his life, Of course, we know what happened at the end of the day. What I'm saying is that the rule of law was there. Strong institutions, strong judiciary institutions, which we have not seen in Nigeria. And ADC will be coming from the angle of, we've had statements when you say, if you want your sins to be forgiven, just join the ruling party, And if you look at history, once you join the ruling party, it's not even now. Somehow your cases, it looks as if it's no longer a strong case anymore. Somehow they permutate the whole thing, and it is either you don't even hear about it, or they come back to come and say, they found out that you are not guilty. Something that it's real. You understand that this one should just be put into jail or something. Even if they put them into jail, before you know what is happening, they have released them. So they don't serve the rightful sentence. This is what we have seen in Nigeria, and I think that is where ADC is coming from. But we'll still look at the matter of the case, because I always like to balance things up, and then when we're talking about the rule of the law, we're also talking about the fact that until a court proves guilty, proves someone guilty. Right now, they have to go to court. They are, it looks like in terms of El-Rufai, they were moved from one office to another office. Now is the ICPC that is there, and at least I read a place where if they don't decide by Thursday, I think it's tomorrow now, it is either they drop his case or they file, the case in court. I think the 14 days has lapsed, which I understand that a court actually granted that 14 days for investigation and things like that, and by tomorrow, if either is dropped or it goes to court. From their own end, it might be possibly that they're looking at it that, after all, these people are highly placed people. Is it because they are not in the ruling party? That's why you are now trying to stiffen them. If they had been in the ruling party, would you have allowed, all those things that have happened to happen to them? I think that is where they are coming from. But honestly, where we sit as the first citizens of Nigeria, I mean, we hold the highest office. We see these things. The issue is what they did. Is it right? Is it wrong? Malami, on the other hand, what did he do? What he did, was it wrong? Was it right? They also arrested him. Fine. At a point in time, he was released on bail. The case is still on. And all Nigerians know what he had done. It was alleged conspiracy, laundering, concealment of funds, which ran in billions, as well as terrorism-related offenses. For me, I might go on another tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't think I want to sit in the same party with such a person, because this is this is who they say you are. Until you are proven guilty anyway. And for our dear El-Rufai, I mean, some of us watched it on Arise, where he categorically said, on the issue of tapping of the phones, these are high crime, if I can use that word, and the gentleman that was even interviewing him, still said, do you understand what you're saying? He said, yes, at least we know what we do. Yes. So they have been doing it. We all know these things, and it looks as if El-Rufai somehow a whole lot of things spills out of his mouth. We also know when he actually talked about, the issue of bringing him to say and all that. And then, of course, they asked him then, okay, why didn't you take them back? Because the money, they didn't pay them all the money they requested for and all that. So a whole lot is happening in that political terrain, and I'm asking myself, will I want to be in the same party with such people? And then will they be the ones that will be ruling the party? I mean, that's why I said I want to come from another angle, this morning, because these are high level crimes that they have done, not even to Nigeria, but to Nigerians, to human beings, for doing that. Because if you look at El-Rufai, apart from that alleged cyber offenses, and then related security linked conduct, at least a whole lot of things is happening now that is bringing up some of the things he did when he was the governor of Kaduna.
Yeah.
So for me, I would not say it's selective where I stand. I would not say selective. Yes, they might look at it from their own perspective, wherever you sit, you either see 6 or you 6'9", but let's be fair to one another. I mean, let's talk with integrity. These people have not done well for Nigerians. They've not done well for Nigerians, and I think we should allow, the court to take, to do the needful. Yes, we also have concerns because we do not have strong judicial institutions. Not all courts, will be able to call apple an apple, or a spade a spade. Some will say, oh, it's an agricultural instrument and all that and all that. We hope we'll get to that point where they will be able to say, these are the things you did and this is the punishment for it. We hope that one day our institutions will be strong enough such that even you, as a lawmaker, as a leader, as a political person, no matter your profile, you would want to check yourself when you want to do some bad things that, hey, if anything should happen and they arrest me, would I be found guilty or not?
Yeah.
How come governors immediately they drop this thing, the next thing they take the next flight? What is driving them? What is driving them away? We need to get to that point where, as leaders, we should have integrity in our hearts. Let's do the rightful thing. I always say that thing. Let's do the rightful thing. Let our conduct be transparent and let us be accountable at all times. That's what Nigeria wants. So, well, back to what ADC has said. Yes, they will, because these are they are party members, and they also have to protect them, and because they have been able to compare that if you're in APC, will it have gone this way, right? But I want to stand on the issue of, well, will I want to sit in the same party with such people that have been alleged, with this? A word is enough for the wise woman.
In fact, I'm sometimes you just think, sometimes you think that there's headway being made, and then the next moment there is none. God will help us all in this wonderful country of ours. You're switching to Women Radio 91.7. This is the Daily News Review program on Full Breakfast Show this morning. My name is Fumi, and Abuki Femi Ajala is here with us. The phone lines are now open, and you can send in your text messages as well to us, 07000 917 917, 09155 917 917. You can call our toll-free line, 0800 1235 917. You can text or WhatsApp us on 08155 917 917, 0703 1756 537. Okay, I think we should just slide right into the second headline for this morning. The time right now is 4 minutes to 8. Yeah, let's get into the second one. The Medical Council of Nigeria has suspended URACARE's medical director, 2 doctors, over the death of Chimamanda's son. When this happened at the beginning of the year, it was such a sad situation. And as a mom myself, like, nobody ever prays as their child passes on. I mean, God forbid, if you're Yoruba especially, you're not even allowed to go for your child's funeral. You're not allowed to know where they're buried, because it's just appalling, and tragic and really, really sad. But we've been seeing so much movement with regards this, where Chimamanda, served the hospital a legal notice saying that, or alleging that, it was medical negligence and professional misconduct that contributed to her son's death. She had apparently taken her son to the hospital for an MRI scan, and I think it was to treat a mild infection, and next thing, boom, 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 problem. Like, he was giving propofol, which is, I think, the dose he was giving was too much for a 21-month-old baby, and things like that. So I would like to know what your thoughts are on this. Like, is this again in the line of justice? Is this justice? I'm not even saying that she shouldn't get justice for a kid, but is this a case of justice moving fast because it is Chimamanda? Because there are a lot of people who have lost their children, their family members, and justice was not really, nobody really did anything for them. Yes, please, Buki.
Yes, it looks like it. It looks like it because, on our program, our lenses, we discuss such things, and we don't see this fast response by the medical council. We don't even get to know most of the things that have happened. You remember the case of the pregnant woman that the husband mentioned. I've forgotten the name of the hospital. It's a federal government hospital, I think somewhere in the north, that they were conducting the lady put to bed, and they were using torchlight or something. I've forgotten. For me, I don't know if you can remember.
I vaguely remember that.
You understand? So what happened? We didn't get to see anything. I can't remember so many things that we have talked about, but bottom line is that most of these cases, we don't even get to see, things move so fast like this. That is to say that if they really want to work, they can actually work.
Yeah.
You understand? Though I also am aware of a particular case that the medical council are actually working, but the speed for this particular one was very fast. If you remember the case of this hospital at somewhere, Okeodo, somewhere where a lady came out to say a particular doctor had taken the intestine of the
Oh,
son and blah blah blah. If you can remember, I know the doctor, and I was following up, and he was telling me this various stages that he met with the medical council.
yeah.
That they looked at everything, the file, the procedures, everything, when the lady came in and all that and all that. So they're actually working. I just want to establish that.
Oh, yeah, we know that, yes.
That they are working. But you see, the speed of this one, it get as it be, make we no lie. You understand? So people will say, is it because she's a global influencer?
Yeah.
When that happened, the world stood at, it's like, our own person, when we talks about the power of influence, she has done well. That anything that happens to her, the world is interested, right? And more so that she also pressed that this cannot happen. I don't blame her, because two twins came, healthy children. Even if one of them was not feeling too fine, even our medical practice should be able to see them through. Because I was listening to a particular doctor who was very passionate about the fact that many Nigerians are saying, close down the hospital, close down the hospital, close down the hospital, and all that and all that. Do we know what it takes for people to even say, I want to go and have a specialist hospital in Nigeria? Obviously, we do. Many people are going out, so we are happy when we get people to say, I want to establish an hospital, I want to establish a specialist hospital, I want to come to Nigeria to do this. Yes, and they invest heavily. No be lie, no be beans. They invest heavily, and we need more. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, what we have is not even enough. We need more. However, let us not forget what we're supposed to be looking at. If you look at the sequence from what our dear lady mentioned, right? It was a mild illness. As far as they're concerned, they were ready to transfer this boy to Johns Hopkins in the US. But before they do, they have to do some procedures, right? They took him to the first hospital, which is the Atlantis something, Atlantis Pediatric. That is why the that is why that doctor also was suspended. Mind you, it's a suspension. It's an interim that you cannot do practice now until they finalize everything and all that. That is why she also got her own suspension. So that means she must have done one or two things that they feel is wrong. And then, of course, she referred. In fact, for us, it was more like, it's even good. You referred them, because if you cannot handle this, you refer them to another place. So I think that is where the casala busted, because like you mentioned, they were to prepare him. I mean, they call it the pre-flight diagnostic procedures or something, just to ensure that. So, but from what she said, and I'm sure that is what they have also looked at, that is why, when doctors treat you, you see they always write so many things, their procedures, everything. So they must have looked at it that there was total negligence at some point. She even said it that they were not even checking up on the boy, and this is for a small boy. And then in terms of the sedation that made the boy, to just lose responsiveness, seizures, and then ultimately cardiac arrest. So I'm sure they must have looked at the case to see that, hey, in fact, these people did not do what it is. So, well, yes, it talks about professional misconduct, right, which we do not want in Nigeria, right? Because all health personnel, they have the duty of care. And we see these things. We see these things, honestly. So let's talk about it. You go to the hospital, you will be the one shouting on the nurse, you'll be the one shouting on the doctor to say, come now, look at this thing now. Come, look at this one. We should not be. We should not be. In fact, now a whole lot of people will have even read about the whole thing. That even when the nurse or the doctor is saying something, say, no, it's supposed to be like this, But I think this is where we also have to celebrate some doctors, some nurses, some healthcare practitioners who know their onions. That even when you get to them, you will know that, no, this one's Sabi. Something happened to me. When was it? On Sunday? It was someone that I was close to. I got to know that she wasn't feeling fine. So I said, you know what? I tried reaching her, but she didn't pick. So I said, you know what? Let me just go and check. And of course, when I got to the place, I just said, you know what? Hey, Alele, let's go to the hospital. So when we got to the hospital, I saw some young doctors and all that. So in my head, I say, we are going to another hospital that I know, but because I saw her condition, I said, okay, let's just see. And honestly, as I entered the room and I saw the conversation, I saw the engagement, I was relaxed. I said, oh, this one knows.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said we also need to celebrate some people that, and the process, the flow, that this one's Sabiam, and all that. So I was gisting with somebody, said that hospital, they cannot afford, to just bring one year doctor, into that. So we celebrate that. But what we are saying today is that can we learn from these things? Because you are a prime hospital, because your fees are high, or because you have positioned your hospital to be, for the wealthy people, does not mean you have to lower your guards in terms of your standard operating procedures, in terms of the caliber of people, and I think that is why the medical director of the Raquel, whatever, is being suspended, apart from the who did the anesthesia. You understand? That means they must have looked at it that even you as the organ, you did not ensure.
There was a lack of when it unfolded. I think there was a lack of duty of care, from them. Like it was like, oh no, he's not. There was there was a blame game going on, and because of the sensitivity of the person in question, there should
a baby, a 2-year-old,
almost,
like 2-year-old, and then you remember she said at a point when they wanted to carry the boy from one place to another place,
they put him on the shoulder
or something, that the guy just put him on his shoulder. You understand? You'll be wondering that, and I'm sure they're going to pay good money for that. So they didn't even have what we call customer service, right? From my own business angle. Right? A value for their money. And at the end of the day, you did not give that person the duty of care. You stated, and I read somewhere that when you come to your children, there is a dose, right? So they must have looked at it. I'm not an expert, but I believe that the medical council has sat down and they have reviewed it. They have reviewed it, and that is why they have come up with these 3 doctors should be suspended. Even apart from that, from the document you sent, about 10 other doctors are going to be suspended. I believe that for all the things, because when they are reviewing this case, they will have been seeing other things. If you remember, when the case of Kanu came up, somebody also mentioned that particular anesthesia, had done a similar issue as well. There was something reported that this is not the first time, and we're looking at it that what happened and all that. But I remember, I think somebody while we were talking about it, was also talking about the fact that even the doctors at times we overuse them. But the truth about it is that why must you overuse the doctors? Yes, I know somebody will tell me that all the doctors have japa. But the question is, hey, you have positioned your hospital as a prime hospital, right?
Yeah.
It is not, the Kujukujuweje hospitals and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? That they pay a premium for it. So they
Yeah.
must have that premium. So if it has to be one nurse attending to that person, I mean, just like what we see, I mean, in advanced countries, because you paid for it, right? At least they must have. Well, I'm not a medical person, but we're only talking based on what we read.
Yeah.
They did not even monitor him. They did not monitor him the way they are supposed to. You just sedated somebody. You're supposed to be checking, and all that. So, but for me, it's more of what are the lessons, for us to learn here. So as a medical director of an hospital, please ensure that people do things appropriately. When I was in the banking sector years ago, my MD will say, I want to trouble my trouble before my trouble troubles me. Let me trouble my trouble before my trouble troubles me. What he was trying to say is that if there is a fault now, I must see to it that fault does not occur again. Because if it does, it can lead to something else. I want to believe that in the process of going through the investigation and things like that, maybe they discovered that they don't even write all those procedures well. I do not know. I mean, I'm not privy to, they didn't say anything. These are just assumptions, you understand? And maybe, the duty of care, because I'm sure for the duty of care, for every procedures or whatever it is, there must be something that must follow one another in sequence and things like that. Maybe they found out that they did not. And maybe, this monitoring things, because when they monitor, they're supposed to record. When they monitor, they're supposed to record. Probably they found out that for this child, they were supposed to be monitoring maybe every 1 minute, and what they only monitored maybe after 30 minutes. I do not know. But obviously, they found out that, they goofed. And that is why they are placed on suspension now. So the lesson for us is, hey, as medical directors, don't just sit in your office. We are appealing because we do not want any Nigerian, either brought from abroad or still living here to die because of negligence, right? We do not want that. So we are just appealing that they do the needful, go through all their procedures, and also do what you call the
Hi, Buki. Okay, we have a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
But I'm okay, through Nigeria, God bless you. I've been listening to anytime you come on board. I just all I'm doing is to listen to you. One more people like you, and people give us hope in this country. We are good in this country. All you spoke, I agree with 200%. Always say one thing I always say, you should learn to do the right in the fear of God. I see majority of you contributed to the destruction of this country. As appointing one of the people come Tinubu, how is pointing back at us. And when I used to say something, say we are carbon copy of our leaders. Because some of us in our little places and our protection, as what you are saying to doctors, it has happened to me. I've gone to hospital, I don't go to only one place. When I go, I have to go there to confirm so that I know what they are treating. Or some of them, where they're not supposed to, because of money, where they're not supposed to do operation. They are going to do operation because of money. Even when I give back my children, I go to the house and I collect blood. See, this country is a good country. Created by that's something you don't have. America don't have what have you, but you don't have what you have. But because of our character, we don't love ourselves, we don't love our country. The problem, if we all do our work. Carry your car to mechanic now or your lower. Give bricklayer work to do now. We are supposed to come back or say, but tomorrow the house will collapse. And when we are doing all these things, doctors not doing their work, nurses not doing their work, it's kind when you to see what you are being paid for. They're going to be checking. If that person is their family member, they will do the right because it's not a family member. And that's what most of us already. One thing does not concern, we don't care what the care of God. And that's why we are today. To learn to do the right thing, this country was not like, if we do the right thing and pray God, yeah, because the country around you, Nigeria will not according to the Bible, according to Scripture. When we have done the right thing, do good to our neighbor happy, then we come before we call. Why we are calling answer will come. But today God has turned the back and prayer, say our assembly together as a church of abomination to God. So the people that are assembled in church of this same wicked, corrupt evil Nigeria. In the area, look at how it I told you the house I'm living now. Room was when I said the room was 40 naira. Now the same room goes to 20,000. The flat 100 and 120. The same flat is going for 2 million, 2.5 million. Who do us? We are just being wicked, afflicting one another. So God is not happy with us. So we need to repent and do the right thing to always do. If you do the right thing of God, this Nigeria will train for better. It's not this Nigeria to be. We're praying the one thing and pray because they know here our prayer. And they enjoy this one, they are still enjoying. Nigeria will be great again if you learn to do the right. God bless you, God bless Nigeria. Thank you, Nigeria will be great again.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Dixon, for your call. You're switching to Women Radio 91.7 FM. This is the daily news program on the Breakfast Show. This morning, my name is Fumi Bangala. We have Buki Femi Ajala here with us this morning. And we've been talking about matters arising. You know, Buki, there was a headline that we treated, I think it was shortly after the Chimamanda one, a lady in Kano. I'm not sure if that's the person you're referring to, who they had forgotten the surgical scissors in her. And then she had been going to the hospital time and time again. And they said, no, maybe she just needs to rest. And then boom, she passes, she dies. And they now finally check her and realize that surgical scissors were left inside of her. And yes, the Kano's
about that.
And they've not done anything. The Kano government did come out to say at some point, oh, what are you doing? Oh, we wanted to talk to the medical council in Kano and all of that. But till today, nobody has been arrested, nobody has been suspended, nobody, and it just begs the question, oh, so my life doesn't matter, or the life of my kid doesn't matter because I am not a who is who.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So that's what we are saying, that yes, you do your job. I mean, it's the rule of law. Nobody is big or small. Let's see somebody as a human being. So, yes. I mean, those families are in pain now. They're in pain. Yeah. So, yes, I know the suspension will not bring back the dead body, but can it be such that it will now begin to send the right feelers into, you know, the sphere, the medical environment, that do what is right. Do what is right. We cannot keep hiding under the fact that, oh, our medical people are japping and all that. The ones that are there, can we make good use of them? And also, I know I'm going to divert, but in terms of their welfare, give them good equipment, because some of them will come back to come and
Hi, Buki.
The bad man that is a bad man that will say it is his tools that made him not to do a good job. You understand? So it's a whole lot. I think the most important thing is so I'm done. For me, yes, I'm done.
All right. Thank you so much, Buki, for that. Our last headline, the federal government, this is from the Nation newspaper. Hello, good morning.
Hi, Fumi, good morning.
Hi, Mrs. Abali, good morning.
How are you doing? Good morning also to our guest today, Madam Buki. How are you doing? Fumi, what is Rose now?
Rose is under the weather. She's not been feeling. She's a little bit.
Oh, good Lord. I didn't know. I'm going to reach out to her today. I
didn't mention it in Monday, but I mentioned it this morning. Maybe you joined later. Yeah, so you can reach out to her. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me chip in on this discourse before we round it up for today. Amanda's case has only taught me as a person a lesson. So let's just call it spade a spade. I know Madam Buki has said some things this morning, but babe, the truth is hustle make you carve a niche for yourself.
Ew.
Because if you're not relevant in society, maybe you are weighing one case against the other this morning. Justice step should be seen as equilibrium, not selective justice. How come Chimamanda's son's own was very fast and the scissors? We don't heard anything about it. So if you're not relevant in society, it seems justice is far from you. Secondly, don't relent and expect God to fight your battles or allow a negligence, a medical negligence or any negligence whatsoever slide. Because people will start guilt-tripping you and emotionally blackmailing you that if you now fight, will that bring about the life? No, you are saving another life from being lost. And finally, this has put the medical sector in the eye of the storm. People have known there now that if anything should come up, people are ready to pursue their cause. Don't let anybody guilt-trip you to saying, let it slide. God will fight for you. We know God will fight for you, but do the needful and God will definitely back you up in society. So in a nutshell, also make people know you because people don't know you. More or less, they're just a species in Nigeria. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, the truth I tell you so.
Thank you so much.
People know you.
Thank you for calling me so early. She said hostel. Hostel. Hostel, so that you can carve a niche for yourself. Hostel
Well,
very much.
You know what I will say. I would tweak it that be relevant in your sphere of influence. You know, be relevant in your sphere of influence, no matter how. Just make your impact known. Influence something, you know. Though it might not be global, like Chimanda, right? It might not be global, but in your sphere of influence, in your community, in your society, you know. I mean, take on that assignment that God has asked you to do and be a person of relevance. I mean, even if it's just to talk, I mean, everybody knows Miss Oboli now that she will talk and she will talk straight to power. I mean, she's not a baby. You understand how? But beyond that, I like what she said that hey, we must treat everybody as a human being.
Yes.
Let us not go to all animals are the same, but some are more equal than the others. No, they are human beings. Yes, yeah. So all the other cases that have come to public, medical council, we want you to do something about it. And the only thing we are saying is that we just want our practice to be healthy. Duty of care. You understand? So that everybody knows that I'm here to do my job. I'm here to ensure that you do not die in my hands. You know, you are healed. Not that somebody will come back and say they forgot his scissors. Scissors. You know, like I told you, they will count those things. Count it. And then before they will count. In the middle, they will count. At the end, they will count. So that means in that particular household, they did not even count at all.
Their standard has dropped, or they don't have an operation, what they call standard of proceedings that you do, where you say, when you go into the theater, you do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't do that.
They don't do that.
Yeah,
you understand? Or maybe because they feel that it's just a poor person. Maybe if it's a high person that will go, all the consultants will be there. They will do that one. But because they're a poor man, no. The person is a human being, and the person is a Nigerian. It is from that angle that we are looking at. Yes, we sympathize with the fact that at times some of them do shift. Remember the last case of the boy that died because of stress. You know. Yeah, we understand that. We understand that. And what we're also saying is that should not be. It's a holistic solution that we're actually asking for. You know, the medical council, like somebody we were talking about in my school, Study School of Governance. So they were supposed to, they were looking at the medical council, and somebody was saying that one of the things that they can actually do is that people want to read medicine should be free, but after you will serve your country for 15 years, you will not go out. But if you want to go out, then pay. You know, we were looking at what are the solutions that we can do concerning this brain drain and all that, because it's affecting us. Let's not lie about it. It's affecting us. It's apart from the standard. Yeah, it's a holistic thing.
All right, let's just take a few messages before we go, because we have run out of time. Nigeria already has a population problem, so anyone interested in other countries' wars should be quickly packaged and sent them, since it bothers them so much, so they can experience the action in person and protest better. Don't be adding to our problems here. This is to those who have been coming out to protest the Iran, Israel, America war. Is it war? I don't even know what to call it that is going on. That's from Olusoga Ajayi. Thank you so much for your message. Top of the morning to you in the studio. Until we punish crime, we can't move forward in this country. ADC is saying, why is Malami being tried with all these allegations? I think he should defend himself. And for El-Rufai, he must defend himself, because as the governor of Kaduna State, many lives were lost under his watch. And it is on record, he paid some Fulani bandits not to attack the southern people of Kaduna, but killings continue after payment. My question now is, who are ADC members? Number one, David Mark says telephone is not the poor, and as the Senate president for 12 years, his people were killed like chicken. Okay, I think we get your message. Additional Wasiu, thank you for your message. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today on our daily news review. Buki Femi Ajala, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for always coming with details and statistics and data every time. See you at 9:05 for her lens. Yes, and then 10 o'clock is the doctor. Talk to you soon at 9:05 for her lens. Good morning.